From mounted speakers on the buildings of downtown Cairo seeps the evening call to prayer for Muslims here. The streets are crowded with cars and vendors. Buildings are tall and worn, but up above it all is where Hamid Salim spent his childhood.
I born in downtown of Cairo. I lived in a roof in downtown of Cairo, not in an apartment, But it's really shiny and nice and big and beautiful and lots of neighbors and everybody know each other and such things. It's like a small village.
The roof is where his mother and other families still live. 12 people stay in this small 3-room home, originally just one room made for building employees. But over the years, with help from remittances from Switzerland, Hamid's family has expanded and transformed its home of the last 60 years.
In the beginning, it was only one room, which we used to live 6 persons inside, father, mother, 4 brothers. We close a balcony, we make it a room as a kitchen, and we make another small balcony as a bathroom, yeah. And then we build an extra room and place for another 3.
Salim's family is and always has been poor. His mother, Karima, calls it living on a fixed income. She gets 500 Egyptian pounds, or about 70 Swiss francs, a month from her now deceased husband's pension. Electricity costs alone can run between 200 to 300 Egyptian pounds a month. It's with this reality that Karima Salim is optimistic for the latest revolution.
أنا شفت الملك فاروق يعني عاصرت من عائلة محمد علي شوية كده ها عاصرت شوية من.
She said in the beginning she was in the time from the king Farouk. This is from Muhammad Ali family till the revolution came from Nasser. The life was really interesting and nice and secure. And after Nasser start, the life goes down till this new revolution came, which is really good for Egypt. We are suffering now, so a lot of bad things happening in the street and all over, but she's really optimistic.
Karima Salim sits in a chair in the main room of her home. 3 large couches line 3 walls. The space serves as living room, dining room, and bedroom, depending on needs. Mohammed is one of her sons.
دلوقتي الحال بقى يعتبر هو متوجه للأحسن.
Mohammed earns about 350 Egyptian pounds a month in his office job. That's about 50 Swiss francs. He says everything is still terribly expensive in Egypt after the revolution, but things are slowly improving. They need more stability, he says. But progress is already being seen with rising wages, and he was promoted. An uncle of the family, also named Mohammed, has lived in the United Arab Emirates for the last 35 years, but returned to Egypt last year.
The revolution should come since a long time ago, because the land needed it. But now it's happened and he's thankful for this, but we have to try to push ourselves in the right direction, He's waiting for something better comes as a result from this revolution. Didn't come yet. He's really optimistic and he says it's gonna be better than what it's now.
سافرت عشان أنا بحب المعلومات العامة كتير قوي.
Karima Salim says having her son Hamid in Switzerland and traveling the world, it's like she's seen the world, though she's never left Egypt, and she considers this rooftop her home. The family seems content to watch the evolution of Egypt from up high, observing changes below. The senses can easily be overloaded in Cairo's Islamic quarter and the bazaars of Han el-Halibi. Shopkeepers eagerly bark for customers for bright and colorful tapestries, fragrant spices, and incense. Before the revolution, Hamid Salim says there were always illegal activities in parts of the market, extending seemingly for miles. But now things have changed.
Yeah, okay. I didn't see electroshock before, in the street. Or
stun guns and things like that.
Yeah, I didn't see this or these knives. Like farther before the revolution, if you walk with a knife in your pocket and the police officer stop you, you are in a big problem till jail. But now you see, they sell everything. You couldn't see it before.
Do you think that's good? Was that what the revolution was for?
No, not at all. The revolution is not for such things. Like they would like to have, like students should have a decent job, or to see that we have hospitals, or we have good schools, or such things.
The many parts of Cairo were Salim's playground and education. He's proudly from downtown, but could find value in many of the city's corners, even at the Swiss embassy, long before he thought of becoming Swiss.
The embassy, or it's just side to side to my school. And every day you pass by, since I am 6 years old, like hi, and try to play with the dog, and then you try to steal the burning
pears.
Yeah, from the trees in the garden, from the other side, and it's really nice. I've never think that I could go to, didn't come in my head.
Salim met his wife while she was on vacation in Cairo, which turned into his moving to Switzerland, working for a time for Caritas, for politicians. But these Egyptian streets remain a place of comfort.
It's called the Old Islamic part, Here you found a lot of mosques from the Mamluk time, And, they restore the whole area. It's really nice. Here, if you see behind you, these people who make these souvenirs. It's really nice, It's really peaceful, yes.
How do you think things have changed for this part of Cairo since the revolution?
I think that people here are suffering because people say, because of the revolution, we don't have a lot of tourists now. Yeah, they would like to have always this easy coming money, And I think the revolution did a lot of things good even for them, because I expect it will be always better, not as bad as in Mubarak time. السادات انا ناصري بصراحه يعني ابويا طلع كده ناصري وانا بحب عبد الناصر.
The area around Cairo makes up a mega city with a population of about 20 million people. 40% of those people live at or below the international poverty line. Still, politics dominate conversations here in cafes and in just about every taxi.
A lot of opinion flowing around? No. Only two. Revolution good or bad? And we speak about both. Who says revolution is bad? Saying, look around you, there is no police here, and there is this and that. The people who think the revolution is good, they say, okay, we are patient, we are optimists.
Far from the markets and far from inner-city politics, Hamid Salim still finds quiet at the feet of the pyramids. He lives not far from the Alps in Switzerland, but comes here for peace.
As I was a student and as I was young, I came here around 4 times a week, riding horses, sleeping here, eating in the desert, making a grill. That's a part of my life which I really do love, Giving a lot of memories, Wake up the stable guys 5 o'clock in the morning and tell them, hey, I would like to have a horse now, And just riding horses, feeling of being free in the desert and pyramids.
It is but a slight respite from the many unknowns in a still evolving, revolutionary Cairo. The black box is what local artists and residents call the backside of this public toilet near Basel's Otterbach Grenze, teetering on the border with Germany. The graffiti-kissed black box sits in a wooded area, frequented by joggers and dog walkers, but nearby there's a federal receiving center for refugees and a well-fortified detention center for migrants waiting to be deported.
It was a space that I also used in my free time. and I met some people from the camp, and I was myself surprised that I didn't notice what happens behind the trees.
Almut Remkes is a Basel artist who now runs the No Border Cafe out of the Black Box, a spot where refugees can grab a cup of tea and have a space to meet.
I thought it would be interesting to open a space that is basically a free assembly space for the people. Not only the refugees, maybe also people from the city, and to create an awareness.
Remkes was part of a group painting outside the nearby detention facility on World Migration Day, when refugees began reporting a family wanted to sleep near the Black Box.
They wanted to be accepted in the camp, but they told them that they should come back the next day. And as they had small kids, and also otherwise, we thought that we should do something. My first impulse was just to take them to the city center to make it visible.
One of Remkes' group offered to take the family in for the night, but Remkes took it further, publishing a letter on Facebook about the family and other migrants shut out of the center. Soon, shelterless refugees had offers from locals wanting to help, and officials opened another shelter 2 days later.
You can always create a lack of space, so it's always a way of keeping a topic on the news.
Francesca Falk is a political history researcher at the University of Basel. She's guided tours and talks with the Black Box artists about Swiss immigration and the ideas of borders.
I think there is a problem now because it's not fair. In each region you are treated in a different way, so you can be more or less lucky, and there is always this lack of spaces. But also I think there is a difficulty in having just, central places, because it's also important to integrate them.
The Otterbach border crossing sits along a thin road into Germany, lined on one side by elevated train tracks. Within a kilometer of the trees around the Black Box, there's an open field, the detention center, surrounded by concertina wire, and a migration center with a playground out front.
Sì, io si chiamo Mickey.
Mickey is a refugee from Kosovo and has been in Switzerland just 3 weeks, but on the road for 12 years. He is Roma, and each of his 4 children has been born in another country, a consequence of his nomadic search for asylum. He helped make a batch of tea in an old stove outside the Black Box.
He thanks the people who work here, because people are not the same everywhere, and here he thanks the people that they do good things.
Mickey and a handful of others gathered around the old stove for warmth and tea. Others came to pick through a pile of donated clothes.
For me, it's very friendly here. It's good. You feel good.
Boualem is from Algeria. He says he walked for 3 months to Switzerland from Greece, applying for asylum. He says his Canadian girlfriend will meet him here so he can start a new life as a Christian, after being threatened, he says, by his Muslim family back home. It was his first time at the Black Box.
Switzerland people here, he make friends with the foreigner, and he give him time to eat or drink, or he have problem. He told him that is what the people, the foreigner, come here. He don't want money, and your heart is closed. Just you open your heart and you be my friend, and finish.
The work of Almut Remkes and others at the Black Box has evolved over the years, but the latest publicity in helping refugees by way of Facebook has lifted the group's profile. Locals have donated more clothes and shown more interest in what happens far from the city center. But Remkes says she doesn't want to be a charity and have refugees think it's a charity. She says just by being in the space, doing projects, then people can become people again.